Good morning, Steve Ray in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Markets, beans are down about 2 cents, soybean oil is higher, meal's down $2, corn's about unchanged, while wheat's anywhere from 5 to 10 cents lower, with KC down 10 cents. Overnight, there were no corn, soybean meal, or soybean oil deliveries, but there were wheat deliveries in Chicago, KC, and Minneapolis. There was also oat deliveries. When we look at the outside market, stock market should open a little higher. The dollar is higher, crude's higher, with a big drawdown in U.S. Stocks yesterday. And the gold market is a little bit lower, while coffee, cocoa, sugar, and cotton are higher. I think in overnight, there's not a lot of new news. The markets are, both corn and beans, trying to deal with, on one hand, the threat of this dry end of the crop year could lower yields and tighten supply, especially in soybeans, versus the fact that Brazil continues to ship a record amount of corn and soybeans that lowers our numbers, and Russia continues to export a record amount of wheat that also lowers our numbers. Yesterday, Egypt bought 2 Romanian and 2 French cargoes of wheat. Even though U.S. soft wheat is competitive, the freight out of those various countries is cheaper than freight out of the United States. Ukraine continues to shell and use drones to attack Moscow, and so the war continues to intensify. There's a lot of uncertainty of how much grain Ukraine will actually export. When we look at export sales today, again, some of the numbers, 1 million tons or more of maybe corn, 1 million tons or more of soybeans, and somewhere around 300 to 400,000 tons of wheat. We also will be kind of watching some of the influence of the markets with higher dollar offering resistance. It is month end. It seemed like yesterday we saw a lot of reduced risk with the soybean markets down and the corn and wheat markets up. And when we look at the weather forecast, our weather guy feels that September will be a little bit drier than normal for the Midwest, and as the month progresses, a little bit cooler than normal. We're continuing to see some shower activity in Europe. Russia and Ukraine is dry. Argentina is dry, but there's certainly a divergence in the weather maps. The European model has some heavy rains in Argentina over the weekend, while the American model is kind of downplaying that shower activity. Australia is dry, India is dry, and so again, I think the wheat market's undervalued given the potential drop in global supply. I think there's a rally post-harvest in corn because of the lower supply, and I think that the bean market could go back and trade over $14 on higher demand, especially on the crush side.